And we are live. Here
Yay.
we go. It looks a little frozen here, so I'm just going to check. Are you seeing that, Lisa? Hi, everyone.
Hi. No, I'm not. It's good on my end.
Oh, you're not, we're not frozen? Okay. No. Oh, yeah. It's funny. This is frozen here, but it looks fine here. So great. Even though we're a little frozen here, but that
technology.
Yes, technology. What can we do? As long as we're seeing ourselves, we're good.
I know. So, yeah.
So hi, everyone. Welcome to Conversations with Eileen. And I am Eileen Carlucci. I am the author of the upcoming book, Your New Life Starts Now. And I am a speaker, a stylist, and a midlife reinvention coach. And I am so excited. I have an absolutely fabulous, amazing guest tonight. As you know, every week, if you've seen my show before, I interview a female entrepreneur who is really making such a contribution to the planet and making their impact on the world. And my guest tonight is Lisa Kelly. And I met Lisa. She has this, I can't even tell you, a game-changing, unbelievable Facebook group, which we're going to talk about. And that's where I met her. And she's such an inspiration. And she shows up every week and gives lives and has guests and has this amazing group of women that share and support each other, during the second chapter, creating their second chapter. So I am so glad you're here tonight, Lisa.
Thank you for having me. No, thank you. It's awesome. It's great.
So before we get started, I'm going to be asking Lisa some questions, but I just want to tell you about Lisa. So I'm going to read her bio. Lisa is a mindset coach. She's a certified practitioner in NLP, which she will share with you what that is about, Time Line Therapy, and a Huna Energy Healer practitioner. And she helps women who feel stuck and unfulfilled to shift old paradigms and programs so they can be aligned with their divine power and remember their truth. Woo, woo, I love it.
I love it.
yes, and I'm seeing us here. Okay, great. So Lisa, first of all, I would love to hear, because you have an amazing story of reinvention, and we always start the conversation off with that amazing story, how you restarted your life. So if you could share, what was your big aha to become a coach and all the amazing things you're up to?
Yeah, I'd love to. Well, thank you for that introduction. It sounds like a mouthful when you say it, but, I remember working with a business coach, a year ago and, writing out your, what it is you do and what it is you serve. And I remember sitting there with a pen and paper in hand, and I just closed my eyes and let my guides just speak through me. And I just wrote it out. So, that's what came through, and that's what I use. So, which is, so much truth in that. I actually like hearing it said back. So thank you for that, Eileen.
Yes. And I'm so curious, and I'm sure the audience is, to hear what you do and how you got into this.
Yeah, awesome. So, again, thank you for having me. I am from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. So, which again, I always love the big, wide world web, how we bring so many of us together. So it's so amazing. My story is, I was a teacher for over 20 years in the elementary system. And I know I always have to say this, because for your US viewers, I know that in Canada, it's almost a 6-figure income. So it is a pretty big income, right? And it's a full pension, full benefits. It's one of the best pension plans out there. So say that you've resigned and are leaving teaching, people look at you like you have 10 heads, right? So while I was probably about my 17-year mark, I started kind of getting these inner stirrings, these, what am I doing? The word that kept coming to me was being authentic.
Yeah.
I remember sitting in meetings, and I was kind of a consultant role. I wasn't in the classroom. And I remember sitting in meetings thinking, this is just not authentic. I don't feel authentic. And that word kept coming to me, and I needed to be authentic. And I didn't really know what that was at the time. I had no idea what I was supposed to do, but I just knew that I wasn't living my true purpose. I wasn't living in my divine feminine truth. So I took some time off. And then I just decided it was time to resign. So I resigned, not having anything to jump into. So for anybody watching, if that's you, if that's where you're at, I get it. It's a pretty scary world. That being said, I know it was supposed to be really scary, but for whatever reason, I didn't feel super scared. I felt like this was the right time, the right thing to do. So fast forward, that's been about 5 years now, I can't even remember. And it took me a bit, but I became certified in neuro-linguistic programming and time line therapy, hypnosis, and I also have my Huna Energy practitioner. So, I've been involved in, I've been a spiritual person. People call it woo-woo, whatever you want to call it, for about 20 years. So energy work has always been something that I love. And it's always been something I kind of knew I was going to do. Didn't know I was going to do neuro-linguistic programming and timeline therapy. All of those modalities, all of them that I've just mentioned, actually work on the unconscious mind. So the beautiful thing about working with clients is I don't need to know content. So I do have women come to me with trauma, if you've got PTSD or, you've got depression, anxiety, or a myriad of reasons that women come to me, or they just want to shift those, paradigms, those old programs that we live in repeatedly on autopilot over and over and over. And unless you decide you're going to take that step and do something about it, then your life is already pre-planned by your unconscious mind. So I just work with clients to basically, that's exactly what it is. It's neuro-linguistic programming. I'm using language to reprogram the brain. And the beautiful thing is that the brain is neuroplastic, right? That used to be the old belief that we can't change our personality. Our personality is set in stone, right? I've actually heard people say that to me, and that couldn't be further from the truth. Right? The brain is neuroplastic. We can change anything. And it's basically rewiring the brain, much like you would do with a computer's hardware. That's what we're doing, right? We're just helping those neurons to fire and wire in a different way, right? So that's really what I do in a nutshell. So it's, it's fascinating work, Eileen. I absolutely
just imagine.
Yeah, I do. I love it.
Yeah. And I just really want to acknowledge you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I just lost my sound. Okay. I just really want to acknowledge you for making that big move, to just leave and having, a nice paycheck and the unknown, because that is scary. Yeah. I did it too. And I was scared. You were not, but and so many people are doing that now. The big exit, right? What is that called? The big, everybody's leaving their jobs because this pandemic really taught us we don't want to go back to these cubicles anymore.
I know. But for any woman that's watching too, what I find, and I've with women on my page as well that I interview, what I find really interesting is, and I didn't know it at the time, it was kind of that entering menopause phase, and the soul kind of got louder and louder and louder until I had to pay attention. But I didn't know it at the time that that's kind of what it was. But so many women now that I talk to, yourself included, I think we kind of equate entering menopause with, going into a second phase of our life. Yeah. And, I think we've been taught to, so many of us have been taught, you go to school, you get a good job that pays benefits, and then, you retire. Nobody thinks you're going to get a different career in life. I mean, to do that is are you crazy? I remember calling the board and talking to them, and I remember calling the pension, and they're like, what? You're doing what? It was just crazy.
No, I get it. When I was in my early 50s, I went to the bank when I was just starting my business, getting a business loan, and the lady's like, oh, you're starting, she said something about retiring. You don't plan on retiring soon. I'm like, are you kidding? I'm just getting started. I know. You know what I mean? Because people do expect that, you're supposed to retire at a certain time, or you're winding your career down, and that's it. So I know what you mean. Yeah.
I know. And I feel like 50, that's a good thing you just said, because I feel like at 50, it was, there was something about turning 50 which was last year for me. It was electrifying. It's exciting. I felt like, I don't know, I was turning 20 again. It was just, there was something exciting about it. Right.
Yes. Yeah. No, that's great. Well, for me, I was going through my divorce, so it wasn't a great year, but it got better every year after,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
as I started to design my new life. But
yes.
But yeah, so I really acknowledge you for making that big leap. And then like, did you go through all this training afterwards, or had you
Not
been
right
doing
away.
Okay.
Just to get really vulnerable with your audience here, for the first year that I was off, my daughter's 22 now, when she was 18, she went through a horrific year. And which meant I went through a really horrific year, worst year of my life, to be quite honest with you. And yeah, it was really, really a difficult year. And she reached out to me. She was at university at the time, about 45 minutes away. And she said, you know, I need some help. And which was great of her. And knowing, you know, who I was, and she's watched me and all the rest of it. And we've gone through traditional therapy before, and I never knock traditional therapy. It serves a purpose. But the problem with traditional therapy, if you're going through something, you might not even know what your limiting beliefs are, but you're going through traditional therapy. See, the brain is made up of 95% of the unconscious mind, right? 90 to 95% is your unconscious mind. And then that means the 5 to 10% is your conscious mind. So when you go sit down and you go through talk therapy, which again, I'm not knocking, but when you go through that, they're accessing that 10% of your brain.
You're kidding, really?
Right. And all of your repressed emotions, your traumas, your limiting beliefs, well, that's housed in your unconscious mind.
Oh, yeah.
There's no way someone's going to be able to talk to you and get that out. And you know what? Even if you do remember some of that stuff, who wants to dredge up all of their traumas and pain? And that was kind of where my daughter was at. She didn't want to dredge up her traumas and her pains. So I sat in a meditation and I just asked to be guided to where she should go. And I typed up on the computer, and the most beautiful woman came up, who actually ran a center in the same town that my daughter was at university, because that was perfect. She needed to be close to it. And she was the one who they coach and train with NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, timeline therapy, hypnosis. So they do it all. And actually, the gentleman who runs it is actually, he specifically specializes in PTSD, and he's been all over the place, including the US, to help with trauma victims at, Florida school shooting and whatnot. So it really is, and you watch them change within sessions. It's amazing, to the pain these people have had for years, and they thought there was no way out, because people tell you there's no way out of PTSD, when really it's just an injury on the brain and can absolutely be healed. So that was where my daughter was. She was kind of diagnosed with PTSD and with stuff to do with her dad. And then I watched her go through this breakthrough. I watched her have this transformation, and I was just in awe at this. And about a year later, I went and did all of their courses and became certified in all of this, because I watched my own daughter transform. So, wow, no better testament than that.
Yeah, that is fascinating. The brain is so fascinating, and it's amazing when you find a tool like this, how much you can help people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And this is the thing of it, is people don't have to go through. I've had so many clients come to me and say, I've been in therapy for years. And I'm just like, my heart goes out to them, because I was there too once. I know. I went through therapy for years, and it really doesn't touch the unconscious mind and what I can do in a matter of sessions, really. So it's quite amazing.
Yeah, I've tried alternative too. Like when I went through my divorce, I went to a counselor, but it was like the 15 minutes would go by so quick, and I didn't feel like I got anything out of it.
Yes.
So I did try some alternative, which I thought was better. Not that I'm knocking at all counseling and therapy. It has a place, but like what you do is amazing. That's like total transformation.
It really is. It really is. And to watch clients have that breakthrough.
Yeah.
I just sit and I can see it energetically, because of course I read energy, and of course energetically I can see it the moment everything just seems to just fade away from them, and they're just like this. The energy just totally shifts in their body.
Isn't it amazing how energy works? I mean, in the beginning, when I was first learning about energy, I was like, is this just woo? And it's so true. Like energy is so real. I mean,
energy is extremely real. I mean, we have an energetic body. We are made up of energy. everything is energy.
Everything.
So everything is energy. Yes.
Yeah, so it's amazing energy. Well, I love what you do. I love you're really such a contribution to people.
Thank you.
With your coaching and yeah. So so your why was really like because of your daughter, right? Like you had this and you found this amazing, like you saw her like change so much. Was that the why? Like that was, I'm starting this business, right?
Well, the why for leaving teaching my why was I'm no longer, something didn't feel right. It didn't feel aligned, right? When something feels aligned, with your own business, you feel so good in what you're doing, then you're aligned. Yeah. And it no longer felt aligned for me. And I looked ahead and I still had 12 years left till retirement. And I just thought, there's not a chance I can do this for another 12 years. I just wasn't aligned. And now I know I wasn't aligned in my truth. So there's no way I could keep living lie. Right. And, we've all heard that quote, don't die with your music still in you. And I felt like that. I felt like I had so much in me to give and I didn't want to die with my music still in me. So that was my why for leaving teaching. My why for kind of getting into the NLP and the timeline therapy was most certainly watching my daughter go through that breakthrough. Right. And then thinking, I need to do this so that I can help others. This is what I've always wanted to do. Right. So, yeah.
And how many years ago was that?
That is
starting business.
Yeah. So it has been 2 years officially that I've really started my business. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how did you start? So you had this amazing training and now you're going to have this with clients.
I had the training and I just decided, so I created my own website, I created all of this. And then I kind of plateaued. Like I thought, where do I go now? I think anyone who's starting a business has probably felt it's not all rosy. Let's put that, let's put that on the table now. It's not, decide you're going to start a business and here you go.
I'm glad I was almost a little naive when I did. I was like, I'm so excited I'm starting a business. And else I would have never started.
I know.
It's a lot. To
be honest, I was too. I thought, well, how hard can it be? Right. Like
exactly.
A naivety or whatever to it. But I ended up hiring a business coach because I felt like I don't know where to go next. So I hired a phenomenal business coach. I'm grateful every single day I did. I'm grateful for her guidance. So that was a really big push to the next level. And I ended up revamping the website and I hired someone to do the website. And so things kind of changed from there once I got that. And then that's when I found my true purpose. I found my audience. I knew I was always going to work with women that kind of was like me 10 years prior. Right. I knew what I was going to work with, but I really needed to niche that down. And, who was I going to work with? Why was I going to work? All of that sort of stuff, that I worked through with a business coach. And then I just started this amazing Facebook page. And the reason I started that Facebook page, I'm going to tell you, Eileen, is because I felt alone. I felt, my God, I must be crazy. Am I the only one who leaves a career this late in their life and thinks they're going to start over? Like all those limiting beliefs and self-sabotaging thoughts were coming through to me. And I was like, I must be insane. Yeah. So I started this Facebook group and all of a sudden, I'm almost at 19,000 women now. So it turns out we're not alone.
Yeah. And Lisa, when I first got into your group, I think you had about 700 people. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
It really is. Like you said, it's a movement where I was talking to Lisa before. Unbelievable, this group. It's such an energy. It really is an energy. You talk about energy.
Yeah. And I've worked hard to keep it at that, right? And as you know, because you've been in it for so long that you've seen a lot of my posts say, this isn't okay. This is our take. I take a lot of stuff down and I'm constantly manning it. I feel sort of protective of the women in there, if you will. I really protect their space. I want to protect the energy and I really want to protect to what I originally intended it for, which was to raise vibrations, raise consciousness on this planet and to all support, empower one another and, just cheer each other on in our second act of life, because that's what we're in.
Yes, I love that. I saw the name change. I love second act.
I changed the name for sure for various reasons, but I needed to change the name and I actually love the name. It resonates.
I love it too.
Yeah.
It says what it is. Like, and you can have like that person that you created that second act, whole different life, right? So
and I work with another woman on the page too. Every Wednesday we do a YouTube channel as well, and she was actually the one who said, hey, what about this name? And so I have to give her kudos, because it just, when she said the name change, I was like, yes, that totally resonates with me.
Yeah. I've done the same with my group. Should I change the name? But I just can't ever think of the best name for it, so I just left it for now.
I know,
but it's exciting when you have a new group name. Yeah,
it is. For sure.
Okay, so then how do people work with you? So say someone wants to work with you. What's the best way? Do you do private coaching? Do you have group coaching? Like, what is,
I do private coaching. So you can reach out to me on my website, which I think you said you'd share after.
Yes.
You can reach out. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, and we can share the group name as well. If anybody's looking for a phenomenal group, we can share that. But so they can get in touch with me anywhere there. I do one-on-one coaching. So I have both 1 hour Huna Energy sessions, and I also have breakthrough packages where we look at, what it is you're coming to me for, trauma, limiting beliefs, something you just want to shake, or maybe you don't know your limiting beliefs. A lot of people don't, and that's okay too. But whatever it is, I have a free consultation. So free discovery call, come and chat with me. We can work some stuff out. Okay. And then I have a breakthrough package, and I work pretty intensively with you for the first 3 weeks. And by 3 weeks, I will tell you, you will have had a breakthrough in whatever it is you come to see me on. And then we work from there. It ends up being, a whole breakthrough ends up being anywhere from 15 to 20 hours. And in that breakthrough is also included 4 Huna Energy sessions. So
wow, it sounds amazing. Like
it's pretty amazing.
Like, getting rid of all that stuff.
We are getting rid of a lot of blocks, a lot of energy blocks. We're getting rid of a lot of old beliefs. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. And honestly, people don't realize how much, I've done a little bit of this work. I haven't worked with you, and I'm sure you're totally amazing, but I've done a little bit when I didn't even realize I had so much self-limiting. I didn't even realize it. So like what you give access to people is like, it's kind of like a blind spot, right? They don't even know that's there sometimes.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because, between the ages of 0 and 7, we have been, all of our beliefs, most of our beliefs have been programmed. By the time we're 35, all of our beliefs have been programmed, and we are living on autopilot over and over and over, where we get up, we think the same thoughts, we go to bed, we're thinking the same thoughts. And then we sit and wonder, why isn't my life changing?
Exactly.
You are the creator of your reality. You 100% are the creator of your reality, but you have so many limiting beliefs and repressed emotions living on autopilot that you might not even be aware of, but they're running the show.
They're running the show.
They are running the show every single day. And so nothing is going to change unless you change it yourself. That's really what it comes down to. And there's so much I could get into with quantum physics, science behind it, but that's a whole other show.
Right. Well, we'll do it the next time you come on.
Yeah.
Sure. So so just to recap, so I'll put your website, right? They can always book a consultation there. I'll put the group, and with the group you go live. It's tons of women supporting each other and sharing.
Yes.
Zoom call, is that like anyone can join? Is that
so if you're in the group, then we do it's fantastic. We do a once a month Zoom call at the first Wednesday of every month at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's amazing. This is where we meet people, and we get to learn a little bit more about one another, and it's so fabulous.
Nice.
So that if you're in the group,
so the group. And then we talked about, you have your 2 different ways people can work with you, and you'll do a free a complimentary consultation.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is so awesome.
Yeah.
So, anything in closing, I mean, you shared so much, and you have such an amazing story, and you're such a contribution to women, and have this amazing group for women in their 2nd chapter. Women really have somewhere to go. Just so beautiful. And I love being a part of your group. So what else can you share? Do you want to share a little nugget for us to take away tonight?
Well, you know what I really want for women, and this is what I try to impress upon in my group as well. I want women to live for them, not for someone else. And oftentimes, we just talked about this in my live today. Oftentimes, so many of us end up living our life for someone else, whether we're staying in bad marriages, whether we're, doing a job that we never wanted to do, but our parents really wanted us to do. I encourage women to live for themselves. And my biggest word still to this day is authentic and aligned. Just be authentic and aligned to your own divine feminine truth. And then nothing can go wrong. If you trust that, nothing can go wrong.
Yes. Boy, do I love that.
That's my little tidbit of words of wisdom for the end.
Yeah. Oh, that's so true. Authentic, like just be yourself and aligned. Because you can tell when you're not aligned with something. So
absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. And if it doesn't feel good, I don't do it anymore. If it doesn't feel good, I'm not doing it.
Yeah. And when something doesn't feel good, right? It's in our gut. Like, yeah, that is really good advice. I really appreciate you sharing that and sharing your amazing story and what you do. And it's just fascinating what you do, really.
Thank you so much. I think it's fascinating. People. I love it. Yeah. And it's such quick transformation for women. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
Lisa, thank you so much again. We so appreciate you. I'm so glad you can come on tonight. And all my guests, everyone, I'm looking to see if there's any comments. But if I see comments after, I'll tag Lisa. If you have any questions for her as well, leave in the comment or, message her. Lisa.
Yes, message me, reach out. Absolutely.
Yes. All right. Have a super night and thank you, Lisa. I appreciate it so much.
Thank you, Eileen. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you. I'm going to see if I can shut this because I'm a little bit, here we go. Here we go. You see me? Okay, here we go. And